Can you take No, you can't. She's meowing at me. She's being so cute. Hello. Oh, fuck. Did you hear that? My little cat was just like a heartfelt little meow thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this right now. Oh, well, that's an army. I think I need some more gateways. I do. That was good. I've got so many Archons, man. Like, what am I doing? This is a clown fest if I've ever seen one. Oh, almost finished those upgrades there. That's decent. Beautiful. That's beautiful. You think it's going to be a rage quit? No, it can't be, can it? His name's the Great Teacher. If he teaches that you're allowed to be a rage quitter, that wouldn't be right, would it? Would it? That's a lot, so many Archons, man. Oh, he's... This style is horrible. GG. He did teach me, boys. He teach me. I think... Rank 69 I was, yeah. Hello Slade, hello everybody. This is my first stream in a while, to be fair. Like, I went to BlizzCon, and then you know, the last few days I've been jet lagged to buggery. Like the first, so in term, yeah, I can talk about my travel. So I was only there for like 3 days, right, in America, like LA, which is, that was an 11-hour flight from Heathrow. So I had my 1 hour and a half flight to England, and then I had my 11-hour flight to Heathrow. Going there and getting into that sleep schedule was kind of okay. Coming back though, so they told us to get a shuttle to the airport like 4 hours before your flight because LA traffic was really bad. I ended up just getting on a shuttle with Beastie, and it was 2 hours earlier than I was meant to. So I was at the airport for like a good 4 hours, and it was like, okay, got my 10-11 hour flight to Helsinki. It was 11 actually. But then I had like a 4 hour layover, and I can't sleep on planes, man. So this was being up for a good. So from 7 PM my first flight in like LA time, I then landed at 4 PM Helsinki time, And then my next flight was at 7 p.m. So it was a 3-hour layover, which isn't terrible at all. I prefer that for an international flight. Like make sure my bags are getting there and stuff. But then it was yeah, it was rough, man, and I haven't recovered yet. I didn't even use I didn't even have a high Templar building. So like the last couple of days, I've been like, Alice this morning was like, Ben, you've got to get up. It's 10:30, and I was like, just dying inside. But yeah, I didn't realise, or is there definitely a way that jet lag affects people worse? Like, is going forward in time worse, or going back in time worse? I don't know, but from this time it felt worse going forward. It's been a while, Fendi. It's been a while, mate. Anyway, so when I finally got home, which was maybe 10 p.m. I stayed up. Until 11, and then went to bed. Maybe it was like 9 I got home. I don't know. But either way, so I thought I'd be fine, but I just couldn't sleep, even after being up for like 30 hours. Yeah, I do not recommend going back to Europe. I do recommend going back to Europe, but it definitely felt bad to me. It is quite fun today, just have like a random stream. If you guys want to see any units in particular, just let me know. Just let me know. We might be able to whip them out, you know. Broodlord Infester. You want to see some Nidus, boys and girls? I'm sure you haven't seen enough of those recently. Some Lurker against Terran? Okay, I actually, that isn't something I've seen a lot, so maybe some Lurkers. Which colour switch do I use? I use brown. I really like brown switches. Matt in the Crown. Yeah, the BC situation was funny. He was very nice actually. He was like, I just want to let you know before, like, you know, start being friends and stuff, that you really pissed me off. And I was like, yeah, I respect that. You pissed me off too. It was like one of those situations, you know. But you always got to. I appreciate a guy that can sweep things under the rug, but also be like, hey man, yeah, that was bad. Oh, Benny boy. Oh, he scanned. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All right, lad. Oh no. idea when to do stuff. Oh, that's fortunate. I don't have any drones there. Oh, it was one of those. Okay, let's keep on spreading creep. Oh. Dead hatch. No. Ah, okay. This guy owned me with this dude. Thought I was safe. Then I wasn't. Wait, this is going to be like continuous damage. If so, it's okay, let's make sure we're not just going to fall over and die. Alright, team. That's one thing we have to hope for here, because we are pretty crippled right now. Oh, bloody hell. Tell the team, tell you. He's going hard on me, eh? Now I have to get lurkers. That's what the people wanted this game. Hello DB Assault matey, thank you so much. Playing Zerg? Yeah, so I'm playing random today to try and get back into the swing of things. Oh fuck. So it's definitely mech, right? Like it's definitely mech. If it's not mech, then it's just an unusual kind of assortment of units. I'm getting a few banelings here, even though I don't really have too much gas to spend. Just because there's going to be a shit ton of Hellions, right? Like, there has to be. Now... No motherfucker. You know what I'm expecting? I am expecting to get absolutely owned this game. I think he's going to have a better economy. I think everything that he did this game was better than me. Oh dude, that lurker is actually dealing some pretty significant damage there. Gotta hand it to it. Okay, let's go. Oh my god. Let's just aggro more on him. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, team. got it, dude. Can we get it? I don't think we can, actually. Fucking nerf. Dude, I actually genuinely thought we lost this game. I was like, What kind of situation was that? Is this? I mean, he was playing a good game, man. He's 5 or 10 over 10 workers ahead against my Zerg. It's all good though, boys. Delusion 89, just to answer your question, like I just saw the start of it. There is actually a patch incoming that will change things. When does patch go live? The thing is, I don't even know if the patch will fix TVZ at all. I think it will help, because I think any little nudge in the right direction is probably like, you know, I'm not going to complain about it. Like, if I imagined a tug of war, and like you have one side massively winning, if I took away like one of the 20 dudes that's pulling it, and makes it a bit less that side, I'm going to be happy, right? But yeah, I mean, when I watched BlizzCon this time, and I've been pretty outspoken about how I think the balance of the game is. And you know, like there's been a few Zergs that have been like, no, the game's fine right now, like Risky and Denver and stuff. But I think everybody's starting to, and by the way, those people being outspoken for Zerg, I absolutely understand that if you are a quote-unquote hard-working Zerg, and you are, like, you know, you feel that you're finally improving, that people are kind of, like, just dismissing your improvements based on your race being input. That is a sucky feeling, so I understand why people get frustrated. But there's no real use in denying that the current state of the game is not a good one. And I played during the Broodlord Infestor days, and I did a comparison on my stream before BlizzCon even happened. That, by the way, Gorwin, thank you for the 12 months, the 1 year, baby. Thank you so much, man. I did a comparison of like the Broodlord Infestor era compared to the now era, and the only difference, in fact, okay, so I have the figures in my head for the Broodlord Infestor era of the Premier tournaments. Terran won 3, Protoss won 7, and Zerg won 11 of like the Premier tournaments of that year of Broodlord Infestor. This year, including BlizzCon, Terran won 3, Protoss won 3, and Zerg won 10. Mind you, the ones that Terran and Protoss won were before this map pool. On this map pool, it's only been Zerg victories. So, like, if you just make a clear comparison between then and now, yeah, it's actually, well, you could say it's equally as bad for Terran as back then, but it's just been Protoss hasn't been able to put up a fight either, which is kind of like, feels bad, man. The map pool was just it was just a great Zerg map pool. I've actually got into talks with a few of the map makers recently about like just giving my 2 cents, you know, because it's actually such a thankless job. Like, if you make a good map, it's like, woo, good map. Like, you don't talk about it. You're just like, okay, this is playable. Like, pro gamers, they're pretty mean. And if you make a slightly bad map. It's like fucking trash, you know. I don't know how much like map makers get paid or whatever, or it seems really difficult too. It's like the map that you make gets implemented like 8 months later for a totally different meta, and it's, if you try and think about that, if you try to think of, even if you ask the most intelligent person in the world, like, oh, how do you think the game will be after this patch and the next patch for that, you know, how do you make a map pool for that? It's really hard. So a lot of these maps that the map makers make come in really late anyway. But yeah, like I spoke to quite a few of them, because it's actually one of the things that I was trying to explain was like it's really hard to know, because there's actually a patch coming in really soon. So stuff that I say that needs to be done now for this patch, for example, Zerg obviously need to take a bit of damage early on to make it a nice scrappy game. So like I was talking about like more exposed mineral lines and stuff for things like Liberators. There aren't many that can hold a candle. That's not true actually, Aether. I think that's a very narrow mindset to look at it, because I think Maru, TY and Innovation are all incredibly good. I think recently that there isn't a Terran player that is super duper motivated to practice. And if you know that you go into a tournament with a deficit right now because of the map pool that has nothing to do with your skill, just like the race that you picked a long time ago, that's a really bad feeling. And this is kind of like, yeah, without being too like heavy-handed, this has been like the least enjoyable period of time for me. Like this feels, the will to want to play right now feels worse than it was during Broodlord Infesta. Just to put it into perspective. So if I was actually trying to base my livelihood and all my like, you know, I'd be like, fuck. So I like if I compare TY playing against let's say an equal skilled Zerg of a fairly equal period of time, TY's made like GSL finals and shit when Terran haven't been that good. He's obviously very good. Hello, Mito Mega. Same with Innovation. I mean, Innovation at different periods of time has been classed as the best player in the world. He also made Super Tournament finals on this map pool. Exactly, yeah. TY was beating Protosses when TVP was deemed like very, very difficult. So yeah. Do I think Maru still has it? Yeah, absolutely. I personally, like, and I strongly believe this, I think the two players that are the best in the world are Serral and Maru. Those two are the ones that I have seen do things that I feel that not anybody else can do. Yeah, I have tried Reforged Beta. I'll probably do a stream of it like tomorrow or something. I just wanted to, given that it's my first stream back, I wanted to do a bit of a chill out StarCraft random stream. But yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar that there'll be a lot of Terrans coming back as soon as like there's a patch that makes things a bit more reasonable again. Because this one, yeah, this has undoubtedly been one of the worst patches we've had. So it's and if you think about that, like if you still enjoy StarCraft 2, which most of us do because we're right here, that's actually a good sign that this is the worst it's been, but it can only get better. Wait, what race was I against? Terran. You feel sorry for Protoss this patch too? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard me with the stats that I quoted earlier, Finns, with regards to like this patch compared to Broodlord patch. I checked it out before I went to BlizzCon. Like I counted the number of victories and stuff. I can go. Alright. I actually made double Overlord, so I was fucked. But, alright, we'll take it. Hold on. What year was the Broodlord Infested era again? I've actually forgot. It was like 2011 or 2012. In fact, I remember when it was. Okay, hold on. I'll bring this up. It was when Sniper won GSL, and then it was that year. Okay, hold on, browse scene. So I won't spend too much time talking about this. Okay. This I don't know if you remember this. I remember this because it was Ryung in the semi-finals. When, like, this was probably the best we ever saw Ryung in Innovation. So Ryung lost to Sniper, I think, but he typed like Imba, like, and he yeah, it was kind of funny. But this around this period of time was like the Broodlord Infested era. So it was like this wasn't the Broodlord Infested era, this was Golden TVT era as far as I know. But like this was Marine King owning the shit out of everybody. Him and Dom Magoo had some sick finals. Then it got to like the end of the year, where it was obviously quite a bit of Zerg, but there's quite a bit of the other races sprinkled in. In terms of like, if we go from like creator here, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Protoss wins. We'll do like, in fact, I'll include Tasia because Tasia was obvious. Was it Imba at Asus ROG? It wasn't, right? Or was it? This was when Moon finished 3rd, I think. Oh, 4th. Okay. Okay, to be fair, the Terran competition, it was sick, you know. Fucking, I remember this tournament, lads. Group stage 2. I started off with them. I started off against Tasia, and I took a map off him straight away, and I was like, I remember Idra being sat next to me. I was like, oh, that wasn't meant to happen, lads. But then there was like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 Terran wins. And then it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So like, actually, even during the Broodlord Infested era, by the Linux, thank you for the 18 months, it was like 4 Terran wins, 7 Protoss wins, and like 10 Zerg wins, you know? So it actually wasn't that bad, if you actually think about that. Even though that is highly considered one of the most Imba periods of time. Yeah, dude, I lost to Night End 1-3, and I lost to... it was also during, like, Blink Stalkers. So if you take, like, 2019, now, there is one result here that is, like, Innovation versus Scarlet in, like, a Chinese league. If we take... you know, there's some things here where it's, like, WCS NA, which obviously needs the best. It's 1, 2, 3 Protoss victories, 1, 2, 3 Terran victories, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then about halfway through the year, right, it was like, okay, you can't win on this map pool anymore. Basically, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in terms of ratio, from it being like 4 Terran, 7 Protoss, 10 Zerg, we now have 10 Zerg, 3 Protoss, 3 Terran. And some of these tournaments, it's like, of course, Neve is like the best player in NA. So you could also say like Serral's the best in EU, but it doesn't really lie that like at the end of the year, the only time we saw somebody win, like halfway through the year, was Innovation versus Scarlet in the final. What was the score of that actually? That's interesting. 3-2, so that could... I don't know. And then Stats played out of his mind this tournament. What was the map pool? Acropolis. So actually, okay, the map pool for this, where Stats actually won, was Cyber Forest, Kairos Junction, Kings Cove, New Repug, Thunderbird, and Tiervo Cruise. So it's actually the old map pool where like a Protoss actually won. Which is, yeah, it's if you really want to delve into it, this era was far worse than Broodlord and Pasta, like far worse. Which that's a crazy thought. That's a crazy thought. That was a lot. No. When Stats won games at Asus Rock, Stats played out of his mind. Like, he actually played really good. But yeah, that's again, that's that is just my take on it all. Bad map pool. I mean, same world-class Zerg play. You have world-class Protoss and Terran players too. Oh man, like, you know what? When everybody's like, Nate, it's just the Zergs are better than everybody else. It's like, what? When in the like, when did this happen? when did it? Serral isn't winning because of only balance. I agree with that. But if you have every Zerg winning and every other race isn't, then you can definitely say, hey, it's probably a bit skewed. And that, by the way, I don't. This is the part about balance that really fucking sucks. There are some insanely good Zerg players, insanely good, that all their wins are getting, you know, brushed aside as if the only reason they're winning is because of Imba, which that is not true. It's not true, but if you have balance being as lopsided as it is, I mean, that is bound to happen. So the faster that this game becomes better and balanced, we can start actually appreciating players' skill for what it is, because everybody that you saw at BlizzCon was incredibly freaking good. But it was a 100-meter sprint competition where we wanted to see the fastest man in the world or whatever. And some people had to run further in the race than others, which just makes it unfair. So I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I don't think anybody should hate on anybody for what race they play. It's a redundant argument. It's not their fault. Close, lads. That was super close, actually. Wait, did he let it finish? Interesting. Bold move, Cotton. Bold move. Oh, he make an expo already? No, he didn't. Okay. Okay, I'm not in the best shape here, team. On a Smurf account? No, my main account. We're playing at about 5 point. Oh, this is me dead. Did he have an expo going up? I did. If they eliminated all the what? Well, 100-meter race is a good example because they are all dropping anyways. There's the bit. Wait, who's arguing in my chat? They should do it like they do in strongman competitions. Dope is allowed. I mean, if you really want to go off the rails, if you have things like repeat rate in the game, which you do have repeat rate in the game, there is one race that benefits more than the other races, where you can have special keyboards in StarCraft 2 that, you know, when you see people click like, you know, let's say 20 biles at once, or infested Terrans come out way faster than you do, and you're like, fuck, do they just click faster? No, they're all like commands on your keyboard, special keyboards where things will happen 2 or 4 times faster, or even 8 times faster. So there are things in the game that do benefit certain races more than others. I think there's a lot of things that could be done with creep tuners that would help. So the reason TLO's APM is high, and I asked him about this, he has rebound his, and it's kind of interesting, he has rebound his hotkey button, like when he does Control 1 or Shift 1 or whatever, he has rebound that to be Alt, as in it will make like a clean hotkey right from the get-go, and it counts as like multiple actions, which I always find that kind of stuff fairly interesting, actually. Yeah, they are hoping that spike, and I'm like, no. You know, I've had so many bloody random players against me where I'm like, race? And they're like, random. And I'm always like, you fucking cook. But now, now I'm like, yeah, bitch. You bet your bottom dollar I'm going to do that to you, sunshine. I might actually get a Zealot, I'm not sure. So, I'm of 2 minds about random. I'm of 2 minds. On one end, you know, play whatever you want to play. But I do think if you are like actually playing to get really good at StarCraft, and you like play to compete in tournaments and stuff, playing against random and not knowing what race they are is kind of a waste of time. So the only reason I'm not telling races is to get an advantage in this ladder game, which is not like me playing in a tournament. Like, it's kind of me being a dick, right? It really is. So yeah, but again, if I play against people that aren't playing to practice in tournaments and they're playing to win ladder games, for me not saying my race is kind of like, okay, that's just an advantage I have, and I play like, I potentially play a worse race because of it. A worse race for me. I might have overreacted here, but I think it was better overreacting and not dying. Although, pros player would probably tell me, Ben, you freaking newbie. And I'd be like, oh, alright, go easy on me, lad. Yeah, this DT push is heading so much later than it should. Oh! Well, fuck me, dude. Oh, that didn't go well, team. Wait. I was like, how come I am not building that little motherfucker? What's going on? I don't even know, team. I don't even know. Pick up our individual Dark Templars, eh? No idea what's going on. No idea. Scary. Oh, nice. Oh my god. Oh, he was so all in, dude. I didn't even realize how all in he was. Wow, wow, wow. So he... Okay, okay. So I did kind of... What a weird game. What a weird game. My mouse is not working properly on stream? Okay, okay, hold on. Let me get that sorted out. Sometimes my Streamlab OBS, whenever I Alt-Tab, can be like, oh yeah, Ben, your mouse is not where you think it is. $101 MMR. Oh, did I just beat Cyril? Mmm. Mmm. So yeah, I don't know if any of you saw my title on my tweet or whatever. Like, I'm very jet lagged still from coming back from BlizzCon. Maybe a tad like sluggy. I know that kind of encompasses like being jet lagged. The last couple of days, Alice has forced me to go out for a walk to get some like of the light, but you know it's just like 0 degrees here. So I had a couple of walks the last few days. Just try and feel a bit more, but yeah, I'm so sluggy, man. I'm a right little slug. Okay, hold on, team. I'm going to be right back very quickly. I'm going to go to the bathroom, and what's the word? Oh, I might get a little touch of the whiskey as well, you know. Keep us flowing. Do I have a game from a while ago that I can show you guys? Oh. Okay, we'll go me versus Lambo. I'll put it on 2x speed. I guess it's an older version. A fail with the 44 months, matey. Thank you so much. Given that I'm going to be away for maybe a couple of minutes, I'll put it on 2x speed for you guys, okay? So we'll have it like this. Hopefully that'll be alright. Alright, stay tuned. I'll be back very shortly. Woo. Let's get some water too. It's Jack here from Meltdown Chinese Place, where we watch WCS. Hello there. Go back. team. Shall we continue watching this game a bit? This game was epic, actually. It was one of those games that I felt was pretty good. Is the sound not working? Huh. This is one of those games where I was sure I was going to lose because Lambo is like really fucking good. And I think he was, the last few times we played, I think he dicked on me a little bit. This is also like, I felt one of the worst maps against Zerg, so I was really like, oh, I'm going to lose. So I just went in with a carefree attitude. Yeah, best to be Prime, mate. It's really good to be back, actually. I had a really good time. It was my first time in America for like 6 years or something. And I had a really good time. Met up with a lot of friends. It was a very short time to be there, but it was a very fun time to be there. By the way, I'm actually pretty hyped for Diablo 4. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you guys know that I play other games and stuff. For example, I've been through like a Dota phase. I've been through. I actually played a little bit of Overwatch when Overwatch was new. Maybe for like a good 6 months or so. It became like kind of a chill out game for me. Until I realised all my teammates were toxic. Like, then I realised like I was walking away from it, just being like less happy than when I went to it. That was a pretty big realisation. I was like, oh no. Yeah, Diablo 4 is going to be a while away. I think the next Blizzard title that's coming out is, it's got to be Reforged, I think, is the next thing they're releasing. Because they actually did promise for that to be this year. Honestly, I would prefer for them to wait. I would really prefer for them to wait and get it perfect than release it early just because they promised. You know, break your promise, make sure that shit's good. Because if Reforged has a good release or a bad release, that could really determine how good the game is. Or at least how many people hop on and then stay on. And like, this was good. I'm a massive advocate of that kind of shit. Like, because remastered, if there's one in, okay, I don't think they're going to be like massive money earners, but remastered, for example, and by massive money earners I mean if Blizzard looks at everything and they're like, okay, World of Warcraft subscriptions make us a lot of money, Overwatch makes us a lot of money, and also we'll probably sell Overwatch 2, which is basically an expansion pack, for like $60 or whatever, that's obviously going to make them shit tons of cash. So if they look at Warcraft 3 and they're like, hey, maybe if we sell like, you know, a few 100,000 copies, that's great. But I would love them to do it properly and just be like, come on, because if a lot of people get on board with Warcraft 3, it could be really cool reliving that. You played Reforged Beta, Liverpool, and maybe, yeah. There's so I mean, I come from playing Warcraft 3 before I played StarCraft 2. So for me, Warcraft 3 feels very natural, but StarCraft 2 also feels very natural now that I play that a lot. Yeah, I think the Overwatch 2 thing. So apparently, I am not a guru on Overwatch at all, but apparently the current meta is really, really bad. Like StarCraft 2 bad. And it's not very enjoyable, so the Overwatch scene has felt very shit on. Even though they're like the biggest Blizzard game pretty much. Besides WoW, I guess. I don't know which one's actually making them more cash, but yeah, the Overwatch scene has felt very shit on, so they needed to do something very big, but they made an expansion with one more hero and then some campaign, which for me that's kind of like, huh? Ain't that an expansion pack? Like, what? I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. Mate, this Terran army right here is a good one. It's just StarCraft 2. So I actually went to like the summit for StarCraft and like met Tim Morton and stuff, like the boss of StarCraft 2. He was really nice, by the way. I went up to him and I was like, hey, and he's like, the Muslim. It's an honor. And I was like, what? He's like fucking multi-millionaire. And I was like, it's super cool that you recognize me even though I'm bald and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I always have your StarCraft 2 stream on. Like, it's often morning for me when it's evening for you. And I was like, yeah, it's awesome, man. Anyway, yeah, he was very honest with us. He was like, yeah, StarCraft's making money. It's by no means Blizzard's biggest money earner, like by no means, but it's very solid with how it like the co-op and like the war chest are the biggest. Fucking competitive. And he was like, it's very, very stable, but it's hard to make more out of that. Which, if that is the case, and I think it is the case, like you could go heavy on like, hey, we'll make more skins. Like I'm a British guy. Can I imagine where like having little Marines with like little patches with like the British flag on their shoulders? Fuck yeah, I'd buy that shit. But their StarCraft 2 team is very, very small compared to the other teams. And it's like, okay, so I think the StarCraft 2 player base was like 1.5 million. Like there's 1.5 million active accounts in StarCraft 2, which is pretty fucking high. But they're all for very different things. Like a lot of them are for co-op, a lot of them are co-op. So there's like different people that like different things, and campaign is still one of the most successful. So let's say that like you do expand things. If you just compare that basically to WoW, where WoW it's like, okay, every person that plays that game pays like $15 a month, and there's 15 million of them. It's so much easier to say like, hey, we're gonna designate the resources to that game, right? Or if you go to Overwatch and it's like 30 million people play this game and are willing to spend like 60 euros on like, or $60 on the game itself. So it makes sense when you have like numbers like that. Most game developers wouldn't drink. Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. It's just about which team's working on what. Spike. Like they were very open and honest with Where's my keyboard cam? Is this it? Is that my face? Oh. There we go. Oh! Bloody hell. That let me. US? Wait, no. We're not going on US lands. Sword Saint Zero? Yeah, this is what I mean. StarCraft makes steady cash. It makes steady cash. But if I told you something like, okay, StarCraft makes like, and I'm pulling numbers out my ass here. If I told you StarCraft makes $5 million in a year, but World of Warcraft with the 15, let's say it's 10 million active subs, which is $150 million in a year, in a month. They're not comparable, are they? And Skizik, hello Dantos. How's it going, my man with the with the Viscag? Are you wearing Viscag Brutality Blade? Yeah, like Chicken Man, exactly. By the way, it was nice to meet you. StarCraft's like super consistent. There's no doubting about that. But by the way, Cheers. Dantos, you can whip out your whiskey as well, mate. HKG. I can make him a mod in here, you know. I like his style. It reminds me of a bit of a pickup artist, you know. What kind of whiskey? This is a Suntory Hikori or something like that. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Let's see. Hold on. What, man? It's like timeout, ban, and then finally it's like, okay, mod. Dantos. It's actually, so the guy called Skizik in the chat. He was in my old WoW guild from like 5 years ago. And both me and him, we don't play together anymore because he plays with Germans. I don't know why you'd do that to yourself personally, but he did it. So we don't play together anymore, but we both got big items last night. TL and Stefano both play with low settings. So, yeah, I can answer that, Monot. So I was at a boot camp with some of the Korean players back in the days. Being like MMA, Clyde, I don't know if any of you will remember Clyde, the Terran player. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted, I can hear noise. But yeah, they were all playing with like medium graphic settings like I'm using right now. And I was like, hey, and at this time I was very impressionable by like the pros, you know? We were all competing in NESL, so it was like the finals. And I used low, because I was like, low's the best, right? Like, I can see more, I can feel more, like, it's great. And then I asked them, like, hey, why'd you use medium? Because they all used it. I was like, is there something I don't know about? And they were like, yeah, it's more fun. And I was like, well, fuck me, dude. And ever since that moment, I was just like, I respect that so much. It being as basic an answer as I just want to have more fun while playing, and then I'll play more, and then I'll get better. There wasn't anything like, oh yeah, this secret, like you can see more, dude. No, none of that. Oh, whoa, he made way more. Okay, I'm dead. Only feels fair. Thank you for the 5 months, dude. 91 MMR? Fucking sick, man. It's pretty blatant how much easier it is to see DTs on low, but I enjoy the max out. Actually, I think it's much easier on medium personally. I remember playing on low settings and the blur, like, I remember there was like some science being done on Team Liquid a long time ago, and it's actually like significantly easier on medium settings. Diabetic Sloth, thank you for the 15 months. Long time this year. Mate, cheers, thank you very much. But there's a specific setting. There's a specific setting that you can change, obviously, because you make it custom. For like, you follow me on type. I don't know what TW is. I've never heard it called TW before. Do you think you mean Pyrian Flax, yeah? Do you think we're brothers separated at birth? I don't know, man. I've heard he's quite bad at games, so I hope not. But he seems like a really nice dude, honestly. Like, that was just me having a little dig. This dude's drunk. I mean, if he's asking if I'm still in Finland, he might be Finnish. And right now, it's dark outside. That means it's party time in Finland. Everybody heads to their fucking saunas, and they all have a great time. But to be honest, if I looked out the window and it was any kind of weather, it would be fucking sauna time in Finland, let's be real. It would be sauna and vodka time for those mad lads. You surprised he wasn't cheesing with all that talking? That's true, actually. You're sober at the moment, Kamala? You're a Finny, eh? Sober for now. And it's like, what does sober mean where you come from? Oh, I'm only like 8 beers in, man. I'm going pretty soft tonight. Dude, I'm sorry if this is offensive. I'm just trolling.